Welcome to Yoga with Ariel. Today I'm going to show you some poses for runners. So I first got into yoga to supplement my running, and I'm going to share with you some of the postures that I find most helpful after my runs, especially my long runs. Okay, so the first pose I'd like to do is child's pose. So bring your big toes to touch, spread your knees out wide, and extend your arms over your head, and just rest your forehead on your mat. So child's pose will help you to stretch through your hips and shoulders as well as lengthen your spine. If your shoulders are tight, your forehead may not reach your mat. And that's where you can use a block. If you don't have a block, you can also use some books, a pillow, just something else to prop your head up. So if you use a block, it'll look like this. So you want to hold that for 3 to 5 breaths, or maybe about 30 seconds, or longer if that feels good. After your child's pose, on a breath in, rise up to a tabletop, balancing on all fours, stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Moving into some cat-cow, so inhale for cow pose, drop your belly, lift your gaze. And exhale for cat, round your spine, press your mat away, gaze towards your belly button. Just move through that with your breath. Inhale for cow, exhale for cat. And do 3 to 5 of those on your own, or maybe even more if that feels good. When you're done, come back to neutral tabletop. Right, so cat-cow just helps you to start to warm up through your spine. Right, and then from your cat-cow, walk your hands about the length of one palm print forward. Tuck your toes, and then send your hips high for downward facing dog. So the goal of down dog is to make an upside down V shape. And one really important thing to look out for is having one straight line from your wrist creases all the way back through your tailbone. So if your shoulders are tight, they might come a little bit forward and look something like this. And so it can be really hard to see that if that's going on in your body. So if you have someone who can take a picture of you in your down dog, I highly encourage it. Or if you have a mirror you can use to see your alignment, that's another great way to check out what's going on. So one thing you can do to counter that is just to bend your knees. So in down dog, it's a lot more important to have a straight back than it is to have straight legs. Actively think about pressing your chest closer to your thighs and reach your heels down toward your mat. Doesn't matter whether or not they touch, but that will help you to get a great stretch in your calves. So in down dog, you're going to be lengthening your spine and then stretching through the backs of your legs. A couple things you can do in your down dog are pedal your feet, as well as come up to your tiptoes and back down, and then dropping your heels from side to side like this. So that's pedaling at your feet and getting a deeper stretch in one calf and then the other. Also come up to your tiptoes and back down to stretch out through your feet. And if you drop your heels from side to side, it'll give you a nice stretch in the side of your torso. And from your down dog, move a couple times through down dog to high plank. So inhale forward to a high plank. So between your down dog and your high plank, you don't want your hands and feet to move. That'll help you to get the correct distance between hands and feet in down dog it's really common to have your hands and feet a little bit too close together. And on an exhale breath, back to downward facing dog. And so again, moving with breath, inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank. And exhale, down dog. And do that as many times as feels good here. So in that transition, you've got a lot going on. You're strengthening your shoulders. You're working on mobility in your shoulders. You're strengthening your core and also stretching through the backs of your legs. And so after you've finished your plank to down dog, next we'll move into ragdoll. So from your down dog, look forward toward your hands and just slowly step your feet up towards your hands toward the top of your mat, or it doesn't matter how many steps you need to get there. Place your feet wide, at least hip width distance apart. Okay, so about here, maybe even all the way out to the outside edges of your mat. Again, just depending on what feels good in your body. For me, I like to have my feet a little bit wider. And bend your knees as much as you need and just let your head and torso hang heavy. You might even want to bend your knees so much you create a connection between your belly and your thighs. So ragdoll will help you stretch out the backs of your legs, as well as just to release any tension in your spine. So hands can stay long extended toward the earth, and also grab opposite elbows. Bring in a little sway side to side. Just stay there as long as you like. This is a posture that I like to hold for a really long time when I'm practicing on my own, especially after a long run. And when you're done, we'll come back to down dog to get into our next posture, runner's lunge. From your down dog, take a breath in, lift your right leg high. And your breath out, step your right leg to the outside of your right hand. So there are a lot of variations of runner's lunge you can take. You can stay right here by keeping your back knee lifted. You focus on strength as well as the stretch. To make this purely restorative, come down to your back knee. If your hips are open, you can come down onto your forearms. If you're not quite able to get your forearms all the way down to your mat, you can come down onto your forearms onto your block or your books or pillows or whatever you're using in place of a block. So for your runner's lunge alignment, check out what's going on with your knee. You want a 90-degree bend or greater in your knee. When your knee comes forward of your ankle, you're placing extra pressure on your joint. So by having that greater angle, you're just keeping your knee safe and minimizing the pressure. So you're going to feel this stretch in the outside of your right hip and your left hip flexor. Hold this stretch for as long as feels good. And then when you've had enough, come up to the ball of your back foot. If you came down, plant your hands and step back to downward facing dog. We'll do that on the other side. So on the breath in, lift your left leg high. And exhale, step your left foot to the outside of your hands. Whatever variation you took on the other side, do the same thing here to even yourself out. And just hold for as long as you did on the other side. And once you're done, come back up to the ball of your right foot, plant your hands, and step back to downward facing dog. So the next pose that we'll take is half pigeon, also a hip stretch, really focusing on stretching the outside of your hip. And again, we'll start in downward facing dog. Inhale to lift your right leg high. As you exhale, sweep your leg through. And bring your left or right ankle behind your left wrist, right knee behind your right wrist. And then settle in. So eventually the goal is to have your shin completely parallel with the short edges of your mat. I have really tight hips as a runner, so that may never happen for me. It's fine if you've got your knee coming forward and your ankle, more of an angle closer to your left hip. Take a look over your right shoulders and help you to square off your hips. You can either stay upright, you can also sleep your pigeon, starting to walk forward. You're making a connection between your forehead and something. So if your forehead doesn't quite reach your mat, grab your rock, place that underneath, or your books, or whatever you're using. And if you don't need your block, just place it to the side and connect your forehead with your mat. When you're ready, if you took sleeping pigeon, just start to walk your hands back up toward either side of your hips. Half pigeon is one of those stretches I like to do for a really long time when I'm practicing on your own, so feel free to hold for as long as you'd like. And then when you're ready, tuck your back toe under and step back to downward facing dog. Other side, will do the same thing. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, half pigeon, sweep your leg through. This time we'll take a peek over your left shoulder to square off your hips. And come back to neutral, place your hands on either side of your hips. And either stay upright or sleep your pigeon if you did on the other side. And then when you're done, evened out, once again, walk yourself back up onto your palms. Curl your right toes under. And step it back to downward facing dog. So half pigeon can be really hard on your knees. If that doesn't feel good on your knees, there's a different stretch you can take, but you will get the exact same benefits. It's supine figure 4. So if you want to take a supine figure 4, come onto your back. Bend your left knee, and then bend your right knee, placing your ankle on top of your thigh, just above your knee. If that's enough of a stretch, stay right there. If you need more, reach behind your left hamstring or behind your left leg with your hands. Make a basket grip. And pull your left leg towards you with your arms at the same time. Press your right elbow into your right thigh to help deepen the stretch in your hip. In this posture, it's really important to keep your toes flexed to stabilize your knees. And then when you're done, switch it out. And plant your feet, left leg, left ankle crosses over right thigh, and then stay here or reach behind your right leg. And press your left elbow into your left knee as you draw your right leg toward you. When you're done, release. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze to reset your spine. And the next posture I like to do after a run is frog pose. It's really uncomfortable, but a really great hip stretch. So come down onto your knees and just spread your knees apart. Be mindful to make 90-degree bends in your knees and in your ankles on both sides. And come down onto your forearms. And just hold right here. And gently start to move your hips back toward your heels. Notice how that changes and deepens the stretch in your hips. So there's no really graceful way to get out of that posture. Take your time coming up. Walk yourself up onto your palms. Bring your feet closer together and just sort of knee your knees back in until you come back into a seat. You don't want to come out of that one too fast. That can be really painful. So finally, I like to end in Supta Baddha Konasana, my final resting posture variation of Shavasana. You don't have to do this, but it feels really good. It's a really nice rest. So for Supta Baddha Konasana, lay down on your back. Extend your arms by your sides with your palms facing up. And bring those soles of your feet together. Let your knees just fall out wide toward your mat. This is a really similar stretch to floor frog that we just did. And then stay here as long as you want. Maybe close your eyes. And just focus on your breath. Breathe into your hips to deepen the stretch. The longer you stay, the more intense the stretch will become slowly over time. This is a great posture to take if you're just watching TV or even laying on your back reading. And to come out of that posture, bring your hands to the outside edges of your knees, close your legs back together, plug your knees into your chest, and rock and roll your way back up to your seat. So those are all of my favorite yoga poses to do after a run. There are a few more that I'll do sometimes depending on how much time I have. But hopefully you will enjoy those. And I'll see you next time.